Okay, I'm going to see if I can actually do this with my mask on to see what sort of sounds we actually have. So let us begin. Previously, you might have noticed that we spoke about the receiving process very briefly, okay? Receiving brings the product into the building, but once it gets into the building, it's still probably just sitting right there on the dock. However, you're not going to be able to actually pick orders with it just sitting on a dock. One of the things that we end up having to have is the fact that you are going to need to have it in a location that allows you to pick an order and do all sorts of other things in the distribution center. But it's first of all got to be in a location. And that means you're going to have to put away the stock that you have just received. And you're able to do this fairly easily with the usage of these container IDs. They come in different shapes, sizes, forms, but essentially they are a string of numbers and letters that are totally random that just allow for easy tracking. They are not duplicated any way, shape, or form. Each one is unique, and it allows the WMS, or the warehouse management system, to be able to track the movement of products, the product that has just been received into the building. So how does this go about? It can go about several ways. It can be done by an individual carton or an individual container ID, where one container ID is placed on an individual box, and then that individual box is placed somewhere. Additionally, it might be an entire pallet. If everything on that pallet is one particular item, it can all be on one small or one single container ID. Now, obviously, putting these two things away would be very different. One probably weighs several thousand pounds. The other one probably 10, 20, 30, 40 pounds, the single box. So different ways are used to actually achieve this put away. And the first one we'll talk about is actually putting away a full pallet. Okay, from what you know about pallets, they're made out of wood, they're made out of plastic, sometimes even metal. But regardless, pallets will have entire single SKUs stacked on them, and that pallet will then be placed in a single location. This is often done with something known as a reach truck. Okay, a reach truck. Let me see if I can actually get a picture here. I guess once I start recording with the webcam only, I can't. But the reach truck is something that allows an individual to go into an aisle. It's very maneuverable, and it allows you to pick up an entire pallet, lift it up to an elevation, lift it up to a storage location that is well off the ground, and then be able to place it into that location. The person will have scanned the container ID originally, picking it up, taking it out of receiving, and then they confirm it into a location where pallets are stored. Okay. And with that, you would be able to look in the WMS and see that, yes, a pallet of this particular SKU left the receiving dock, it traveled to a certain location, and then all of a sudden it got scanned into that location. Okay, the WMS allows for very easy trackability. So if for some reason the person putting the pallet put it in one location but decided to unfortunately scan a different location, it allows individuals that are responsible for keeping and maintaining the inventory and to track down issues, it allows them to be able to do some research. So the WMS is very helpful in tracking every last bit of product in the building and people that do the movements. Okay, so that is a full pallet of put away that has been done by a reach truck. Again, one single container ID for that entire pallet. Now, you also at times will get things coming into the building where every single box might be a little bit different. And in cases like that, the individual container will be received, and that individual container or cardboard box or whatever it comes in is going to be put away into a location. Is it going to be put into the exact same kind of location that was just utilized by a reach truck? No, probably not. It'd probably be put into something smaller that would hold probably something more like a box as opposed to an entire pallet. But that is oftentimes done with another type of equipment that is an order picker. Now, as opposed to the individual raising the product up into the air and putting it into a location and then scanning a container ID into that location, when you actually have a single carton that is being scanned into a location, oftentimes this reach or this order picker goes up to a location off the ground, and it will put the product into that storage location, and it will scan that particular carton into a location. Sometimes the WMS will say you need to take this carton to this particular location, or other times it can just be a free-for-all and you can put it wherever the heck you want it. But regardless, you're able to know exactly where it is because of the container ID that is on that container or that cardboard box. Okay, so it's all very straightforward, all very trackable, but all very essential for the coming steps that are next. And that's when we start to get to order picking and replenishment. Okay, so I'll leave it there and we are done.